Hi, everybody. This is Deborah Morris with Deborah Morris Home Team Keller Williams Advantage Realty. I have the honor of speaking to another one of my wonderful Seminole Chamber members, Mike Brockman from Brockman Insurance. There are definitely a lot of changes going on right now with homeowners insurance, whether it be a seller wanting to get the house ready to sell, knowing that they want less amount of negotiations as possible, or a buyer trying to get insurance to close. So, Mike, let us know what the latest is.
Sure. Well, again, thank you for having me, Deborah. And the biggest thing that we're finding right now in the Central Florida area is that the availability of homeowner insurance has become scarce, which is a scary prospect. I've been doing this for 29 years in Central Florida, and this past 12 months has certainly been the toughest, tightest, most expensive insurance market in Central Florida. You asked about, what do sellers need to do and what do buyers need to look for and or do. As a lot of people know, the biggest thing out there right now is roofs. Roofs are the biggest thing that, roof age, I should say, is the biggest thing that insurance companies are looking at right now. But that's one of the four things that I say insurance companies look for. Once a home gets over 15 years, they look to have some of those certain items replaced. Biggest one being water heater at 15 years. You start to get to 20 years, they want to see that the AC and water heater have been replaced. Roofs, those are in the 0 to 15 year range, and then that 15 to 20 year range, if it's an architectural shingle roof, they want to see replacement. That was the norm, but that's not the norm anymore, unfortunately. With roofs, once your roof gets 12 years or older, pretty much in Central Florida, we're limited down to about 3 companies that will write a policy for a 12 to 19-year-old roof. We do have the state company that will go up to 25 years on a shingled roof. So that's the biggest issue we're running into right now is roof age. It's not a stopper for home insurance or someone selling, but it is availability issue. So the prices and availability of options to quote with are going to be a lot less in today's marketplace. And unfortunately, we don't see any relief coming definitely through the rest of 2021 as far as those parameters being lifted by the insurance companies and loosening up some roof ages and things of that nature. But the 4 areas that we look at are the roof, the AC, the electrical, and the plumbing. Those are the 4 issues. Realtors, if you've had an older home, you've heard the 4-point inspection. Generally, if the home's over 30 to 40 years old, depending on the company, they want to have that 4-point inspection showing the updates and condition of those 4 items. The roof, we kind of talked about that, so I won't go into the roof. As far as AC, they want to see less than 20 years old on an AC. Electrical, they'll generally allow electrical panels, 40, sometimes even 50 years old. Once you get over that, they do want to see that the electrical panel has been updated. The other thing with the electrical, of course, is your panel boxes, your Federal Pacifics, your Zinscos, your Sylvanias. Insurance companies, most of them don't like those. So if I was a seller going to sell my home and I had one of those panel boxes, I would replace that before I put my home in the market. And then it eliminates that as being a negotiation tool for the buyer. $600, $700, $900, depending on the size and what you have to do, is about the average price to replace a panel box. The other thing that we run into, especially here in Seminole County where I am, the homes around here built back in the 60s and 70s, is a lot of aluminum wiring. Mm-hmm. Aluminum wiring can be a big stopper for most insurance companies. We do have a couple, if it's had the Aluminicon crimp connectors or the pigtails put on, where it's been semi-modified, where we have a couple markets that will do it. If it's straight up aluminum, it gets tough. It may end up going to the secondary market for some homes with aluminum wiring, depending on the other updates.
And how do they find out if they have aluminum wiring? Do they have to hire a professional electrician or an inspector in order to be able to find that? Or is that, so there's some way this
They will generally, when they do the normal inspection, the 4-point inspection and your regular home inspection, that home inspector, when they look at the panel box, they determine what kind of branch wiring is in the house. Aluminum, multi-strand aluminum feeds coming into the house to run your big items, like the main feed to your house, to your, maybe your stove or your washer dryer. Those multi-strand aluminums are fine. They're talking about the branch circuit for the whole house being aluminum. An electrician will tell you if it's all aluminum and it hasn't been touched, it's great. That's an electrician. Insurance companies don't like it. So and like I said, the connectors can be expensive, but it may be the only option sometimes to retrofit that versus a full rewire. The connectors are going to be a lot less expensive than a full rewire. The plumbing, that is, like I said, they don't expect the house to be replumbed at 20, 30, 40 years, but they do want to see that the sinks and the toilets, the pipes and the fittings have been, the external stuff has been, updated. The polybutylene, that's the other issue with houses with the poly. We get limited companies, and then you either get limited water with that as well, where you'll either get no water damage coverage whatsoever, or you'll get a maximum of $10,000 in water damage coverage for the polybutylene. And really the only retrofit for that is a whole home repipe. I wouldn't say that it's a stopper and someone which should do that before they sell their home, but it's certainly probably going to be a negotiation tool for the buyer because that may be something that they need to do, on their end. And then the other thing that goes with plumbing today is the water heater. They don't like water heaters over 15 years old. A lot of times if they are located in the garage where they're outside, so if it does leak, it's going to leak, out in the garage, we can get that extended, to 20 years with some companies. But if it's inside the house, definitely it needs to be less than 15 years old. Water heaters, water losses, are the biggest claim that any insurance company has outside of the Mother Nature claims, but water is the number one loss leader for insurance companies. So the AC and the water heaters are why they look at those particular items. The couple items for sellers, which I wouldn't really say it's insurance, but it's kind of, a lot of them do this anyways, but trees trimmed around the house. Insurance companies are more and more, if that tree is coming up the side of the house and it's over and it's touching your roof, just trim that off before you go to sell. And the others, paint, pressure wash, get the mold, mildew off the walls, the sidewalks, things of that nature. Insurance calls it pride of ownership. So when they go to look at a house, they would give a new buyer, obviously, hey, please clean this up and send us some pictures. But we've had some existing buyers when they've done re-inspections get a little bit of trouble with having to do some cleanup to their house. So they do like to have that pride of ownership. And the insurance companies, when we write a policy, or the insurance company writes a policy, they have a 90-day underwriting discovery window. So anytime within that 90 days, every company we have goes out and does at least what's called a drive-by inspection after we write the policy. Make sure the trees aren't touching the house, make sure the pool is fenced, make sure there's no trampolines, skateboard ramps, whatever the case may be. And in that 90 days, they can come back and cancel or ask the policyholder to, remedy something that they see. And most of the time it is a remedy. They do usually give you the option to, hey, fix this, and we'll be fine. But sometimes they see it and they say, hey, we just don't want to be on this risk anymore based on what they see. And then, we'd have to do a rewrite on there. What else did I have? I
was going to say, you have given us so many tips. It is amazing. They're going to have to look back at this video over and over again to write more notes on both for the buyer side and the seller side. That is fantastic, Mike. Tell me, how can they reach you? Because I'm sure they're going to have lots of questions or want to ask you a little bit more details about some of the things that you've talked about just now. How do they reach you?
Certainly. You can reach us on our office number. It's 407-644-9991, and that's our direct office here in Altamont Springs. They can reach us on the web at www.brockmaninsurance.com. brockmaninsurancegroup.com. And you can reach me personally on my email at mike@brockmaninsurancegroup.com. Now that is wrong. mike@brockmaninsurance.com. There's no group there on the web address either. It's just brockmaninsurance.com. So we have a chat feature and a contact feature on there as well.
Perfect, because I know insurance is changing constantly. So you even said a couple of pointers there that I'm going to start re-emphasizing that I didn't think that that was as important that you just emphasized was. So I really do appreciate your time and your expertise. And I'll see you at the next Seminole Chamber event. And you have a great day.
That's great. You too, Deborah. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.